Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Can.
She had a moment there where she forgot. And this is a candid conversation. Welcome back, folks. Well, last candid conversation really stirred up some people getting comments and all that. Very good episode for us. One of our better ones on YouTube, so gotta like that. That's starting to grow. Enjoy that thoroughly. Just talking about being bold, setting our boundaries, being firm with them, but also not letting boundaries control our world size around us. So, what gold do you have for us today?
I don't have anything. I don't really have anything. I'm just here today, but I'm thinking. Okay.
While you think,
So there's.
now look at
Okay,
this.
you got some?
Well, a little antidote. You remember when we were first dating, we took some Christmas photos over at your best friend's house?
Yes, and you had the tree.
The tree behind me, and it looked like I had a giant mullet coming out behind.
Yeah, because his head was blocking the top part of the pointy part of the tree. You could just see the bottom of the tree, and it was sticking out. It looked like because he had a short like crew cut, and then he had this long. It looked exactly like a mullet. It was so funny. I gotta find that picture.
It was a good picture.
That was a good picture. We were very young. We were babies.
Well, not quite.
We were probably like 19 and 20.
Yeah, not babies. We're full-grown adults
18
that
and
knew
19
everything.
Probably. Huh?
We were full-grown adults that knew everything.
Mm.
Hey, there's something you can talk about. Dealing with children that know it all. At the holidays.
Well, okay. I think maybe we could talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the phases that kids go through, especially teenage years.
Ugh.
Okay. Yeah, they're not. They're
send
difficult.
them off to like a farm or something, and take them back when.
But you know what? It is the teenage years that have changed me the most.
Yeah.
Because they.
I used to have hair before we had teenagers.
That's not true.
This was all nice and dark.
Your hair went out. You were 30, so that means our oldest was 6, Dan. That's hardly a teenager.
Close enough. She was an old soul.
I think teenagers, early 20s too, you get into the 20s. And even now, our oldest is 26. She's now coming out of it a little bit, thinking she knows everything, right?
I don't know about that.
And they go through that phase. But let's talk about in Christianity, how that is viewed, how teenage years are viewed. As they begin to want some autonomy, they want more independence. They want to do things. I mean, even little kids want to say, I want to do it myself. You know, they go through that phase, and you have to kind of let them or they're not going to learn how to do it. And then in teenage years, they're hard. I'm not going to say, like, I usually will say to somebody who has young children that the younger years are physically difficult because they take a lot of physical energy from you, right? Mm-hmm. So it's nice that, I mean, we had our kids when we were pretty young, so we had the energy. I don't want to do that now. I at almost 50 years old, that'd just be a lot of work. When I watch my nephew for a little bit, he exhausts me.
We had a pregnancy scare a while back here.
Oh, gosh.
It's like over the summer or something. Menopause can really freak people out, So,
oh man,
and I remember just thinking like, oh no, I am not starting this at 51.
I did not want to be pregnant at 48 years old. Dear God, no. Oh.
So,
but people do it. People do it if that's what you know. But it's a whole different thing when you know that there's choice involved. You know what I'm saying? With Christianity. Not that I don't know what I would choose. I don't know what I would choose, but I do not want to have a child at this age.
No, definitely.
But anyways.
So mentally tough during the teenage years.
Yes. No, emotionally. I would say emotionally, because first of all, they pull on your they kind of hold. I feel like your kids kind of hold your heart.
Yeah.
And they don't realize it, and they can just crush it when they, have their moments. So you have to be emotionally.
They've had 12
mature.
years of understanding how you tick, studying you meticulously for 12 years. So then
And they're
that,
not trying to be,
no,
yeah, but
but,
I
and it's them years that now they're starting to find their personality too. And you remember with each one of them, it was kind of like this, okay, I see where you're going with this idea. We just need to start sanding down these rough edges, and you think about it with the youngest now where he's just out of pocket half the time. It's like, okay, I know where you're going with this, and there's something there that'll be a good personality trait for you, but it's highly inappropriate. It's,
I will say about our own children, and I don't know if I would have. I think I noticed it when I was Christian. They are funny kids. They are
mhm.
so funny. They don't even try to be funny. They just are. They're very witty. They
Yeah,
get that from you. They're so witty. Very sharp-witted. Witted? Is that the right word?
yeah, they're a bunch of witheads.
But they're funny and yet they're kind. Like they all have stood out as they were going
Hmm.
through like high school and stuff as like these just and people see them as good people, kind people, hard workers, blah blah blah, right?
Hmm.
Um but yeah, they're the teenage years.
Yeah, they're testing their boundaries, and they're trying to
Mhm.
figure out who they are and what they can get away with, what they can do. You know, what am I about? So that's an experimental phase,
And
and
it is normal and necessary.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? In
and
Christianity,
there was something
how
there
would we have
too.
viewed that?
It's that because everyone talks about, well, your children hate you once they turn to a certain age and start going through puberty,
Yeah,
but there was
they
a
definitely don't.
biological response to that because you don't. I remember you telling me this. It was someone was saying, yeah, it's kind of, if you think about it, you don't want to. You want to have that angst between child and parent because then the animalistic need of reproduction isn't there because there's that angst there. You know what I mean? It just kind of drives. Just if
No, I
you're
think I
going
know what you're
back to
saying.
basic, remember you're talking about animalistic type. So that way there's no attraction in a physical sense. It's that
Why
repulsiveness.
would your kids be attracted to you? This is
Well, it's
going a
just
very
it, you were telling me about this. It was someone who was talking about it
I
from a
don't
biological sense. Is that it's a natural response to kind of boost that repellent between a parent.
well, probably maybe what I was saying because I don't know if you're quite understanding me, but I don't remember saying this, but I can see some sense there. Like I can see it being first of all, it is biological, whatever it is, because it
Yeah.
tends to always happen, right? But I think it is maybe there is that angst so that they'll push away from you to
Hmm.
go find a
Yeah.
mate if they're going to,
Yeah.
not that all do or anything or need to or anything, but
Yeah.
that is that biological. They have to get away from the parents
Hmm.
in order to do that so that they can find
Yeah.
a mate. Because obviously evolution would desire reproduction,
Hmm.
right? Um, Even though we now is we've evolved enough to be able to make a choice in that. We don't have to reproduce, even though we might have the urge we can protect from,
Hmm.
even though evangelicals would say, nope, you got to have as many babies as God will give you. But it's so funny. Like we went through a phase, I did, after our first baby. I think we used birth control before the first one. And that actually was we weren't in like a real legalistic church at that time, right? We
Yeah.
I remember I used birth control. Then after the first one, I did use um I had the
Insert thing. Yeah.
yeah, what's that called? IUD. I had an
Yeah.
IUD put in for a while. Then got scared because I started to hear people tell stories about it getting lodged and stuck inside you or whatever.
Yeah.
Um but I also had this conviction of the Holy Spirit that we were stopping God. So we should just take away the prohibitors and let God do whatever God was going to do. Well, we got pregnant anytime we didn't use protection, it just took one time. Like that's how we're just, we were, we're fertile in my family. I mean,
Hmm.
my mom has 8 children, my sister has 6 children. We have 5 children, there's a lot of kids running around. Um, and that's just the way it is. It's whatever our genes are. But to think if we didn't prevent in between, because then before you had your vasectomy, did we use condoms or something? I don't
Yeah.
remember. Okay, so we were trying to prevent. And I know some people were telling us, especially when we're in that legalistic church, like, don't, you should just let God do whatever, you know. And then people do the rhythm method and all these different things. And
Yeah.
can you
They try
imagine
to
how many
find
children we would
loopholes.
have?
Oh,
Could you
God.
imagine how many children we would have? And we would be so poor. We would be poor because what they expect you to do, think about what the evangelical, the fundamentalist expects someone to do. They expect a woman not to make any money.
Mm-hmm.
So all that pressure would be on you to make money. And
Mm-hmm.
I would do the 24/7 care of the kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? They shame you if you would get a nanny or any help or put your kids in daycare, right? So you're supposed to do all the work. And also the church we were in, you better homeschool. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
exhausting
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
what it caused. And it causes you to be irritable and not in a healthy, your emotions are dysregulated. I remember so many times I would snap at the kids and I would feel instant guilt. Like, what did I just do? I don't want to yell at my children.
Yeah.
You know, and then causing emotional, I was so emotionally dysregulated that, I mean, we do have a child who still does not talk to us she's 23 now. And very little communication, you know, between us and her. And I know that my emotional dysregulation played a role in that.
Mm-hmm.
And Christianity would not say it was emotional regulation. First of all, I would say she was sinning if I mean, there was times she'd be really
Yeah.
upset with me. Naturally, you know, a teenage daughter getting upset with her mom. And I tried to we were deconstructing, but still there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of programming that still needed to work out. And
Yeah. Definitely.
I would just cry so easily. Mostly it was crying because I couldn't really feel. I was so dysregulated that tears were that was like the emotion for everything. Or the evidence of emotion for everything. It was tears.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm angry, I'm crying. If I'm sad, I'm crying. If I'm frustrated, I'm crying, you know, and she saw that as a manipulation when it wasn't a manipulation. It was, I had no control and I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know that emotional regulation was something I needed. So I just would snap, feel guilt and shame, try to patch that up. But I mean, it's affecting the kids over and over, right? So actually, I'm kind of surprised that none of the rest are not. I mean, all the rest of them talk to us, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I know that there's mothers that experience that shame cycle of yelling or snapping at your kids because you're so stressed. But Christianity creates the environment for that. And the dad, stressed usually at work.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's told when he comes home, he's not supposed to do anything. So even if he feels like I probably should help.
Yeah.
I mean, you say it from the man's point of view.
Well, you have all this burden to provide. And, you know, and people, I've heard sometimes where it's like, well, that's all you got to provide. I get it. There's other things that could be done and helped out, and we've learned that over time. But providing still a lot to do, because then as you got multiple mouths to feed and more coming in, then you got to start figuring out. And for a while there, I was working 2 jobs, and you know, it'd be some days it would be like 18 hours a day I was working, or more, depending on the season,
and getting little sleep.
Yeah,
you barely, you know, I mean, I said so many times I feel like a single mom, right?
Yeah.
Just you're bringing in a paycheck. But the another thing is, I think that is not talked about with the providing. Especially when the man, because we're going to just talk typically the stereotypes in Christianity, a man that's working, like, you're blue collar. You aren't sitting at a desk all day.
Yeah.
You're on your feet. You're dealing with customers. You were dealing with, you know, a boss down your neck all the time, trying to get you to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Pressure, money pressure. You got the pressure of kids need this now. And we don't have, like, we're scraping and scraping and scraping. So it's not that, I mean, you weren't living your dream.
No.
You were doing a job that would pay the bills.
Yeah.
It's not like these billionaires
pay the bills.
that are, I mean, it's not like billionaires who are, it's just funny. These people that are in these high
And
positions that are telling people to fit these roles. And these men have like easy, look at a pastor.
yeah,
I mean, he probably gets to sleep in. He probably gets 8 hours of sleep every day, most
well,
times,
no, they're up at
you
night
know.
worrying and praying for their congregation and different
Yeah.
members.
I mean, some maybe, but they get praised. They get extra gifts. You know what I'm saying? They get help if they need it. Whereas a common man is exhausted working. I get that. I get that when he
Hmm.
comes home, he's like, and he's not really thinking through that the woman is working all day, because people
Yeah,
still say that are deconstructed. They'll say like a woman doesn't work if she stays, like, she's working. If you're at home, you are working.
yeah,
You know, there are some people probably that sit around and they're just, watching soap operas. I don't know. But I
yeah.
felt like when I
No, you
stopped
were
working and
going
I was
all
at
the time.
home, yeah, I felt like it was exhausting, way more exhausting. Plus, I wasn't pursuing any dreams,
Yeah,
and they make it sound like, oh, the men got to pursue their dreams. But a lot of men, because of the patriarchy and because of these Christianity, where these roles are fit, you're not getting to pursue your dreams. You just have to fucking get
yeah,
something that provides.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you had to go and make sure that you're getting a. See, and we'll wrap up with this here. But I think some of it too was in this whole child rearing thing was you had to break the will of that child. And they wouldn't
Oh, yeah,
say it
that's
that
what
way,
you're taught.
you know.
Yeah.
And you hear about Dobson and the strong-willed child. It's like, don't
Mhm.
break
Mhm.
the will, but use that, manipulate that so then they could be the strong. But the whole purpose was you have to train these kids to be obedient to authority, mom and
Yes.
dad. That way they learn to be obedient to the church later.
Mhm.
So when they're older, they don't have free thought, independence, critical thinking. They're already broken down and trained so that they can be plugged right into the church system.
Oh, yeah.
And then now you start the cycle all over. Have 1,000 kids. Dad,
Yep.
you work. Mom, you take care of the kids. Dad, you keep working because it's not just
Both
for
of you
providing for the
exhausted. Yeah.
family. You still have to give us 10% every
Mhm.
week, month, whatever it
Mhm.
is. And don't forget about that. And you're
And don't
struggling
miss
because you're not,
church.
yeah,
The
because
one day you might have off in a week where you could
yeah,
sleep in and enjoy each other's company, and yeah, and then blame you when your marriage falls apart because
yeah,
you haven't seen each other and you're not connected to
yeah,
each other, and your whole life is your kids.
hmm,
Like the woman, her whole life, no wonder empty nesters, just like some of these women almost fall to pieces
yeah,
because their whole entire life was their children and raising their children. They don't even know who they are. And so I mean, I had that just coming out of, there was 8 years I remember counting and keeping track that I didn't make a dime. Then I worked part-time. I worked a little bit at the beginning of having our first child, into the second child a little bit. Then I quit when I was pregnant with the third, and then didn't make any money for 8 years. And then I finally started to go back part-time. But still, we can talk about that in a different
yeah,
time, where just how hard that is on a woman trying to figure out who she is in her 40s, and
yeah,
after her kids are grown up. But yes, it's hard on men and women,
yeah.
and the church sets up a recipe for families to fail. They really do. For you to have estrangement, for you to have a husband and wife who don't really
Hmm.
love each other or aren't
But
happy anymore,
that's
but
the
they
whole
stay
system
together.
too, because remember the hierarchy: God, church, family. So as long as you have these in order, everything's gonna. So then you had to believe, okay, things may be shitty now. I'm not putting God first enough, so let's make
Yes,
sure
it
we
was
go to
always your
church
fault.
more.
Yeah.
Let's go to church more. Let's pray more. Let's Bible study more, and keep pushing this in, because things aren't working out at home.
Let's beg God,
Yeah, the
please
kids are
make it
acting
better.
up. Our relationship's shit. So let's pray and study the Bible a little bit more, and make sure we're going to church and plugging into all the extra small groups for marriage counseling and everything else. And
Oh
yeah,
yeah, then you need their resources for that,
yeah,
right? And then they want you to go to them for counseling, which they're going to just push the Bible at you even more and make you feel more guilt and shame.
yeah,
It doesn't really help relationships. And I don't know. I just don't think that. I think when we pulled away and we actually turned toward each other, and
hmm,
we're a team. Let's figure out what works for us. Let's figure out, how to run this thing
yeah,
that works for us and our children, keeping the kids in mind and allowing them to flourish. And now I think the kids who, are still around us, I think they really like us. I think they
Yeah.
like hanging out with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
And
do.
I know that I really hope that our
But
other,
it's because we
daughter
gave
will.
them the freedom to explore too. And before, that freedom wasn't allowed. You're in this
No.
box, you get to the edge of that box, and then you rebuke them and push them back into it. Now,
Hmm.
okay, let's explore this, but we're also going to be there to kind of help point out maybe some dangers on this exploration. And they can listen or not. And then we can get even more.
And sometimes we're wrong.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We're not
yeah,
acting like we have this final authority and we know everything.
yeah,
It's sometimes we don't know what the hell to do. And our kids are seeing us be human
yeah,
and try to work through things, but we're a safety net
yeah,
for them.
yeah.
Like if they're in trouble, like we're here.
Yeah, so they got to figure out who they were and explore who they were and find out who they were and do that, which I think helped that development. And it took a lot of stress off of us because
Hmm.
if we were to do, and it's still in church and allowing that to happen, then it was that image of, oh God, what is everyone in church going to think when this child shows up looking like this and this child's acting like
Hmm.
this in church and this child's doing this? And it's like, well, because you have to always have that perfect family look when you're in church. Otherwise, they're going to come after you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
getting
And
out
you
of that,
still,
yeah,
even being out of that and being in a, I mean, we're in a very Christian state.
yeah,
We're in a Christian nation. Let's be honest. Like a lot of people are very Christian. The whole world, most people, I think Christianity is the biggest religion, right?
mm-hmm,
It's shrinking, but it is the biggest religion. And we live in a very, like the people that we rub shoulders with every day, a lot of them are evangelical, or they kind of been raised to think that that's the best way, right?
mm-hmm,
And so I'm not saying that we're perfect. I still feel the pressure, but I can at least now recognize, oh, that's pressure that I've been programmed to. It seems comforting. It seems like if they would just conform, we would feel, but I'd feel better. You know what I'm saying? And that's that emotional paying attention to that desire,
yeah,
has nothing to do with sin, has nothing to do with conviction. What it is a program that's running in the background that's like, hey, this will feel safe because it's known, and the
yeah,
unknown feels unsafe. So that's all it is. Whereas pastors would call that the conviction of the Holy Spirit, but it's not conviction of the Holy Spirit. It's an old program that wants to run for safety.
yeah,
That's it.
exactly. So, yeah, once we turned away and started, and because we let the kids be themselves, and then we started exploring ourselves and found out what worked best for us. We were told all along, this is who you are, this is who you need to be. And then we deconstructed, and then we finally asked the question of ourselves, who do we want to be? And how do we want to make
Yeah.
this look? And it was scary because it's like, all right, let's do this. And who knows if we'll be together in 5 years. But,
Hmm.
luckily we still were able to, you couldn't shake me off. I was going to be your dingleberry chasing you around the whole time.
He calls himself my dingleberry.
You call me your dingleberry.
I do call you my dingleberry
Yeah,
because you are.
it's a pet name. It's endearing. But we were allowed to explore ourselves and find out who we were and how we were going to. And now everything was defined by our parameters. This is how we're going to be. This is how our house is going to be. And it wasn't
It's
perfect. No,
freeing.
it caused
No.
some
And
issues, especially with one
it's ever
child. But
evolving too. It's
yeah,
still always changing because we keep changing.
yeah,
Not like random changes, but we're growing. You can tell we're growing because things change. When things stay the same, you think of water that sits and doesn't move,
hmm,
gets real stagnant and nasty, right? It needs
yeah,
to have some movement to it. So that movement as we grow is super healthy, whether we're growing roots or we're growing, more ways of growing out, it's all these things. We continue to grow and evolve. And this is never a finished thing. I think deconstruction is lifetime. I think you continue to deconstruct and reconstruct, and you're in control. You're the creator of your own life. There's no, um, you know, I do believe in a source that's kind of supporting you, but I don't think it controls any of it. It's like, it's up to you. Like, where do you
hmm,
want to go? I'll put the power behind it, just kind of start going that direction, and I'll bring things towards you as you walk that way. Um, just because it's there to support and it just flows with you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But there's no God, like there's no being out there going, I don't think so. I just don't think that, I think that's silly to
Yeah.
even, and it causes problems. But I do think that, I guess to just sum up, like deconstruction created a better environment. Now, some would say we're going to hell for this, but they can say that and they can think that, and it's okay because we're not afraid of it. And it's our lives. So if we end up in hell, we own it, right? But I think it's caused our children to flourish. We can see their personalities. They're so distinct. They all have these unique personalities, and even the daughter that doesn't talk to us, like she's growing and learning. And as we grow and learn, like we'll be, when we are reconciled at some point, I hope, we'll be different people, and there'll be matureness on both ends, and healing and forgiveness. And I just think it will be a
Yeah.
good thing, because we're not just not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? We're growing
Yeah.
and changing.
Yeah.
And she was a catalyst in a lot of that too. But I think each of our children has played a role in changing us and shaping us. And I think children can be your best teachers.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, that's it for that one today. Thanks for listening.
all right, we got to wrap it up.
Well,
These
that was our
presents that are
problem.
wrapped so neatly.
When we didn't wrap it up, we ended up having more kids. So, YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit smash, subscribe, like.
How come you look so
follow.
blurry?
That's my eye.
Guys, he has to have eye surgery. So
pretty much blind in this
send up
eye.
prayers. Huh?
So
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to get that fixed, but that's later. That'll be in January. Maybe we'll do a podcast when I have a patch.
With the patch.
So
You're not going to make me edit, are you? I don't like doing it.
I'm editing
It's just
right
going
now
out
with one
as
eye.
is.
I'm at it with one eye, so I can keep doing it with a patch on. So anyways, yeah, like, subscribe, and follow. We'd appreciate that. If you're listening on a streamer, podcast streamer, Spotify or whatever, go up, give us 5 stars. If you got a moment on any of these platforms, leave us a comment. We love hearing it. Last week's Candid conversation was a adorable conversation because we had all the comments coming through and people talking about it. And we like to hear if it's hitting a nerve with you people and striking up something that's like, oh yeah, makes us feel good, validates what we do here. So if you want to get anything with us that we're doing, go down to dannycan.com, click on that link. It'll take you to everything we're doing, and you can go, and Candy broke out a few other links on there also, so you can look at that and get more of what we're doing and all that whatnot. Other than that, you guys have
we got a little friend to say goodbye.
Oh, Haley's
Haley.
here again.
Haley, say hello. She's so cute.
With her buck teeth. So there's Haley. All right. Well, from Haley and all of us, have a merry little Christmas. In 2 weeks.
We still have more of these to do. One more before Christmas, don't we?
Yeah, and then one that'll come out day after Christmas.
Happy holidays.
So, happy holidays to you. So, may your nights be bright and your days be dark.
Oh, God. Goodbye. That's not a nice thing to say. I don't like it.
Bye.
Bye.